Russia just got humiliated badly, and we all know there's nothing Putin hates more than pure humiliation. This all happened quickly, and it was not implemented by a superpower, not by NATO, but by Ukraine and drones. We're not talking just any drones. These 117 explosive-packed drones that were somehow smuggled deep into Russian territory. They were hidden inside what basically looked like portable sheds. These drones were quietly driven by truck right up to Russian air bases. Then, just at the right moment, the roofs slid open and dozens of drones shot straight into the sky, taking out warplanes worth billions. I know what you're thinking, and I was in disbelief too. How did these trucks get across the border? Like these massive trucks full of drones crossing into enemy territory with no issues, no questions. I find it completely mind-blowing. This was Operation Pavutina, or the English term Spiderweb, and it may be the most daring and effective military sabotage Ukraine has pulled off since the war began. We're not just talking about explosions here. This was a targeted hit on the very core of Russia's long-range bombing capability. We're talking about aircrafts that could launch missiles into Ukraine without ever entering Ukrainian airspace. The kind of planes Russia believed were completely untouchable. And now they're toast, quite literally. Today, we'll break down exactly what went down, how Ukraine pulled this off, and what it means for the war, and why it's scaring the heck out of Russia's military right now. Here's the big picture. According to Ukrainian intelligence, they hit over 40 Russian military aircrafts, including strategic bombers and even one of Russia's few remaining surveillance planes. The total damage? According to Ukraine, it claims it hit about 34% of Russia's cruise missiles launch fleet. Obviously, that is a massive hit to a country that's been pounding Ukrainian cities. Well, of course, this wasn't just some spur-of-the-moment strike. According to President Zelinsky, this whole thing took over a year and a half to plan. While we were distracted by elections, tariffs, and Trump's spectacles, Ukraine was engineering one of the most sophisticated acts of military sabotage in modern history. Let's be clear. These drones weren't launched from Ukrainian territory. They were already inside of Russia. Ukraine smuggled them across the border, tucked them into fake wooden containers with remote-controlled roofs, and quietly parked them near 5 key Russian air bases. Like, how did they even do this without the FSB noticing? That's Russia's infamous intelligence agency. This operation happened under their nose. Now, Ukraine hasn't released all the details, and understandably so. But from what we know from social media videos, satellite photos, and intel sources, it paints a picture of a coordinated strike at a stunning scale. Multiple air bases, multiple regions, all hit in the same short window of time. And just to give you a sense of how deep these targets were, we're not talking about bases near the border. These bombers were parked thousands of kilometers inside of Russia. That would be like someone hitting military bases in northern Alberta from Kansas. It's a distance from the Ukrainian border that made Russia think these bombers were safe there. Well, it turns out nowhere is safe anymore. These Tu-95 bombers they hit, those things were originally designed to carry nuclear weapons. They've since been reworked to launch cruise missiles. But they fly high, stay out of range, and drop missiles from far enough away that Ukraine can't hit them. Until now. That's why this operation is such a game changer. These planes were the core of Russia's long-range strike system. Now that they're gone, Russia's got a massive problem. They can't just go to a showroom or a dealership and order more. Some experts are saying this hit is permanent, that these aircrafts are done and not coming back. Ukrainian intel says this strike caused over $7 billion in damage. That's an absurd number. But more importantly, this wasn't just about dollars. It's about perception. It's about showing the world and showing Russia that Ukraine isn't just sitting back and taking hits. They're playing offense. Now, here's where I need your help for one quick second. If you've been watching this far and you appreciate this breakdown, please hit the like button, drop a comment, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and do so I can keep doing videos like this. It really does help more than you know. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Okay, so the other reason this attack was so shocking is because of when it happened. Hours, literally just hours before peace talks between Ukraine and Russia were set to begin in Istanbul. Now, obviously, hopes weren't exactly high going into this meeting. But this attack, this might have changed the tone completely. I mean, think about it. If you're Putin and Ukraine just torched a third of your strategic bombers the night before peace talks, you're not going to be walking into that room in a giving mood. Or, I mean, maybe you are. Maybe you're suddenly a lot more open to talking now that you realize your untouchable bombers aren't safe anymore. Either way, that sends a bold and loud message. What's even more impressive is that Ukraine didn't need billion-dollar fighter jets or NATO boots on the ground in order to do this. They just used small, cheap drones and a lot of creativity, stealth, and planning. That's how you outsmart an enemy that has more tanks, more planes, and more money. Don't forget, Ukraine already sank Moskva, the flagship of Russia's Black Sea fleet. They've pushed into Russian territory before, but this is a little different, and there's no way it didn't hit a nerve. You can see it in how Russia responded. They downplayed the damage. They repelled most of the attacks, but satellite images, damage reports, and social media leaks all tell a totally different story. Now, we do have to be honest here. Ukraine is still a tough spot. They're outgunned, they're under constant bombardment, their military is stretched, but these kind of wins certainly boost morale. One last thing worth noting. Russia didn't see this coming. Despite all their intel, despite their surveillance, despite having the FSB watching for exactly this sort of threat, they completely missed it. Which begs the question, what else is Ukraine planning that we don't know about? Or was Russia developing a grand plan, but Ukraine simply beat them to it? It also raises a deeper issue. How vulnerable is Russia really? If Ukraine can hit bombers parked thousands of kilometers inside their territory, what's stopping them from doing it again? Or hitting something even more important next time? The psychological impact of this is huge. It forces Russia to rethink their entire strategy, to relocate assets, to second-guess their own security. It throws a wrench in the war planning, and that alone is a big win for Ukraine. All right, folks, thank you so much for joining me today. Please hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. It tells the algorithm this content is worth watching, and it'll push my video out to more viewers like yourself. Thank you so much for the support. Have a wonderful day.